friends. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to my new space. It's a little different this time around, but I do have my Padawan Grogu right there. I've got my Grogu tumbler with some caramel nut tea. It's so good. It's by this company called Tecasino, I think. Anyway, I don't get a kickback from them, but I should. I love their tea. It's awesome. So I want to welcome you to the Divine Feminine Empowerment vlog. It's been a while. I agree. It has been a while since I posted a vlog. And I was in the middle of a move, I guess, between packing, moving, getting settled here, still getting settled here. It's only been about 10 days, I believe. So there you go. A little craziness has happened. Today, I want to talk to you guys about total transformation. And this is going to be a little like talky, freestyle vlog as vlog should be, honestly. But it just came to me, and I'm going to take a sip of my tea here. It just came to me because of Easter Sunday. And it also came to me by something that someone had asked me and my response to them. So if you want to know more, do stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe to the channel below, give the video a thumbs up, share the love, comment below. So I'm going to take a sip of my Tecasino, and I know I'm pronouncing it wrong, caramel nut tea. It actually tastes like a caramel chew. It's really good. I normally don't like sweet teas, and there's no sweetener in it. It's like sweetened by dates and figs, I think, but there's no sweetener. So it's so good. So I'm going to put this down right now because I'm going to get distracted by my tea. That's so yummy. So total transformation. So I was thinking about Easter, and I was going to post this vlog on Easter, but I was really busy just like unpacking boxes still. And I figured it might be well received in the middle of the week versus on Sunday when many people were celebrating with family and friends. So I was thinking about this concept of Jesus dying on the cross and being totally transformed, right? So the idea, even if you're not Christian, you might have heard the story of Jesus. So basically, Jesus dies on the cross, is dead for 3 days, and then rises from the dead. And he is transformed. It's totally a transformation. And then he walks the earth for 40 days and then ascends into heaven in his light body. I was thinking about Jesus and Jesus's total transformation from death into life, from death into everlasting life. And it made me think about the total transformation that takes place when you embark upon a twin flame journey. That total transformation is supposed to change you completely. It's supposed to change every cell in your body. It's supposed to transform, change you so that you do not look at all from a personhood perspective. Physically, you might look the same, but from a personhood perspective, you don't look at all like you did before. You are totally changed, totally transformed, and you are dead to your old self, just like Jesus was dead to his old self, but he was completely transformed into something new. And it's interesting because when Jesus rose from the dead after 3 days, he still had the holes in his hands and his feet from the nails that were put into his hands and feet when he was nailed to the cross. So it's just this idea of I am not the same as I was before. I am totally transformed into something brand new, and I don't look anything like I did prior to that death. And we're talking about death, and it's funny because when we get the death card in tarot, it's often like a really scary card for a lot of people to get or to pick themselves even, Or when you see a tarot reader pick it for you, you're like, whoa, why did I get the death card? That sucks. But it's more akin to this total transformation, that you are dead to your old self, you are dead to your old ways, that you have been transformed into new life, and so that you cannot go back. When you are dead to your old self, you burn all of the bridges that brought you to your old life in a way that you are transformed. Now, that doesn't mean you burn all the relationships, of course, right? You still have a relationship with your family, your kids, your ex-spouse, whatever, but you don't interact in the same way. Your personality has changed and transformed in a way that you are just different. So the question that brought me here, it was a question to me through a friend acquaintance. I call them friend acquaintances because it's almost like an acquaintance that's kind of becoming a friend, but is not quite a friend yet. Maybe they'll just stay casual, but this is a friend acquaintance. And he was talking about a recent breakup, and he was saying, oh, I've finally come to the point at which I know that I can't go back to that relationship, nor do I want to go back to that relationship ever again. He asked me about, has there ever been a good relationship in my life where I was thinking about all the good aspects of that relationship, and I was thinking like, oh, I'd like to maybe go back to that relationship because it was a good relationship. And I thought about it for about 30 seconds and I said, you know what? I've never been in a good romantic relationship. And that's absolutely the truth. I have never been in a good romantic relationship. Not ever. Every single one of my romantic relationships have been totally dysfunctional. And when I thought about that, I was like, whoa, that's like a really scary thought to think about, that prior to meeting my twin flame, and I'll tell you, the twin flame connection, that connection in the beginning was not healthy, not well, not functional. And so that is thrown in there with all the rest. And when I thought back at that, I thought, wow, that is just a telltale sign to who I have been up until about 2018, 2019, because who I had been was someone who was okay with a bad relationship, someone who was okay with a dysfunctional relationship, someone who was okay with staying years and over a decade with someone who was completely awful in relationships. Now, of course, they're good and bad, ups and downs, right? Nothing is completely black or white. No relationship is completely 100% good or 100% bad. There's always a mix. But when I look back at all of my romantic relationships, it's that the scale was heavily, heavily leaning in the direction of being pretty bad, with good moments sprinkled in, but pretty bad and really dysfunctional and really negative. And when I really reflect back on that, I look at who I am today in 2023, the person that I am today in 2023, compared to the person I was when I was in my last, I had a quasi relationship in 2021. It was very small and it didn't last very long, but that too was kind of dysfunctional. Even though I was aware of it, I knew it was a temporary situation, but still, for all intents and purposes, not healthy. Until about 2021, at which time I decided, okay, the next relationship I am in is going to be a healthy relationship, a good, healthy one. Not a bad one, not a mediocre one, not a temporary one, but a good and healthy relationship. Up until 2021, I was ready, willing, and able to accept things that were less optimal in relationships. I was ready to accept people that were less than what I truly wanted in a relationship. But now that I have died to my old self and the old self in relationships, I am no longer willing to settle for a relationship that does not match my current persona, my current energy, my current way of being and way of interacting. And it's something that totally transformed me through my twin flame journey. Had I not had my twin flame journey, had I not had the awareness and the spiritual awakening through the experience of my twin flame, through the experience of the twin flame arc, the twin flame trajectory, the twin flame journey, had I not had that experience, I would not have died to my old self, and I would not have realized what is my higher self, higher purpose, higher being, higher way of being. I wouldn't have realized it. It's only thanks to my twin flame journey that I was totally transformed. And so when you really think about this, like the total transformation, dying to be reborn, dying to your old self to be totally transformed into this new being that doesn't look anything, in many ways, right? Doesn't look anything like the being before it. And it's a pretty big shocker when you look back and realize it. And sometimes you don't realize it until you look back and somebody asks you the question. So, was there ever a good relationship that you really wanted to hold on to? And you're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There were no real good relationships. Now, there may have been relationships that I wanted to hold on to for the wrong reasons. And certainly there were people in my past who I loved very much, but they were the wrong person for me to move forward into my future. But when I think about who I even was in 2018, at the moment at which I met my twin flame, when I think about that person that I was in 2018, and I look at the person that I am now in 2023, it's literally like night and day. It's night and day. It's a totally different person. And if you are a twin flame and you are sitting there going, I wish things could be like they were in 2018, 2017, 2016, 2020 even. If you're sitting there going, I wish that things could be the way they were when I met my twin flame, when I was courting my twin flame, when they were courting me, when we had our nice liaison together, when we had a relationship together, whatever it was, if you're wishing, hoping, praying that it could be back to where it was or that you could be in that moment again, then you're missing the point of what spirit is intending you to do throughout this twin flame journey, which is to totally transform you into somebody new. And if you are resisting that total transformation, then you are resisting the very evolution of your own soul. You're resisting the evolution of your soul. Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to go back to the person that I was. I don't want to go back to the person that accepts less than optimal relationships. I don't want to go back to the person that accepts relationships that aren't filled with passion, love, maturity, mutual respect, and mutual understanding and mutual vibe, right? Being on the same wavelength. And so I thought that if I brought this to you and thinking about how the twin flame journey is supposed to totally transform you, just like Jesus was transformed from death into life, and ultimately, as I mentioned, 40 days later, being ascended into heaven, into his light body, just like that. If you've been resisting your total transformation into a new person, then there's something going on there that you need to let go of. Because going back to the Easter story, that if Jesus had not wanted to die, had he not accepted dying, he could not have been born into his new life. So he had to first accept dying to his old self in order to be transformed into new life. And so if you're resisting, if you're holding on to the past, if you're holding on to your past self or past relationships for that matter, or even the past with your twin flame, like what occurred with your twin flame, the past, the maybe good times that you had with your twin flame, but it's in the past and it's under a different set of rules, different set of acceptances, if you will. So just think about that this week and the next 2 weeks. I don't know when I'm going to produce another vlog. These are kind of spontaneous, but just think about that for the next 2 weeks is like, have you been totally transformed since the moment that you met your twin flame? Would you be able to go back to the point before you met your twin flame and go, oh no, like I don't want to be that person ever again. I am totally done with being that person on some levels, right? On other levels, I'm sure you're fine. But just on certain levels, would you not repeat those mistakes that you made in the past or not accept the relationships that you accepted that were less than healthy in the past? Whatever it happened to be, it could have been even lifestyle choices that were less than optimal. And so when you think about your total transformation, just write in the comments, how have you been totally transformed through your twin flame journey? So I want to thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for subscribing to the channel below. Click on the bell, scroll up to all for all notifications. Thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing this with other twin flames. And thank you so much for your support on my YouTube channel. You can buy one of my 10 published books. You can join a twin flame boot camp or my meditation course. You can also join our group coaching. The links are all below. And I will see you in the next video.